All right, welcome. The first official Clutch Chats is going live. So for our first guest, we've got none the other than Jamie, Mr. Blunt. How are you?
Good man, how are you?
Oh,
And
very
boys?
well. Then we've also got the
Jamie,
How are
regulars.
we?
We got Bolchi, we got Tally. They're all here today for a bit of fun.
What's going on, fellas?
living the dream.
If anyone could
Yeah.
see behind the scenes, man, what a night.
Yeah.
It's been a cracking start.
Yeah, we are 38 minutes behind schedule. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Nah.
But yeah, so I'm just gonna start with this one, do a bit of introduction to I guess what Blunt Collections is, how you got started, and so just tell us about yourself to start with.
Yeah. Well, I'm Jamie. I own or founded Blunt Collections. Well, it started probably I started Blunt back in 2017, I think it was. Around the time I've always loved my basketball, loved my sport. Played a bit of basketball, played netball quite competitively as well, like indoor netball.
Bit of netball,
Yeah, loved it.
Hey.
I did my ACL one night playing there. So basically was out of a job. I was in the hospitality industry at the time, managing a cafe in Broadbeach. Doing my ACL, I had to wait 3 months for surgery. And then obviously once surgery happened, I knew that there was going to be a bit of time off in between. So went through a bit of a rough stage there financially. I started to invest in sports cards, probably why I got in a bit of a financial dip.
Just one break.
Yeah,
Just
like
one
that,
break, bro. Just jump
Yeah.
in one. Just one card.
Yeah, back then there wasn't really the value that there is. Like when you're pulling
Nah.
big hits back then,
Nah.
it was like a $200 card, whereas like now that's a $2,500 to $3,000 card. So there were a lot of early sales back then that I shouldn't have done, but
couple of Giannis rookies or
Luca rookies, Prism rookies, all that kind of stuff. But just kind of got to the stage where I was heavily invested in Cherry. I was buying in their breaks pretty much every night. Enjoyed them. It was my pretty much my like release. I could just at the end of the day sit down, crack a beer, watch Blakey go and break some boxes, and I just loved that side of it. It was pretty raw back then. I think Cherry, well, they were really the only ones that I knew of that
In
did
Australia,
it. Yeah. There was another couple as well, but essentially Cherry were the best, and they had the best range of product and everything like that. I've always had like a bit of a background in marketing. I love my online gaming. Essentially, I was probably going to go down the path of Fortnite streaming or something like that during that time, but it all just kind of slipped into place where I just thought that I would give the breaking a crack. I hit quite a big card with Cherry. It was a Jaren Jackson Jr. Rookie booklet from Opulence. Number to 4.
Nice.
Big laundry tag, like the full laundry tag from the side, with the logo man on it as well. So I ended up trading that to them for I think 5 boxes. And I think back now and I'm like, I actually like the trade was good. Like I was happy with it, but now it's like the value in the trade that we did was huge. Like I think I got 18, 19 Spectra, 16, 17 Spectra, 17, 18 Prism Fast Break, and like a couple of other boxes in there as well.
That's wild.
You're talking a couple of grand just in that 18, 19 Spectra, mate. Jesus.
Yeah, that's it. So I ended up having my first break, which is mainly just to get amongst mates. I think back now, I only actually had one person that I didn't know at the time that was in the break, and he's still in my breaks to this day, which is Blair Chafe. I think
shout out,
you boys
shout out to Blair.
What a man!
Yeah.
That's commitment.
Train Muay Thai now with Blair as well, which has been a good thing. Like I've put on a few kilos in the last year or so, just living that hobby life. But in the shop, pretty much 18 hours a day. It's quite easy to sneak over to the IGA and grab a chocky or a Gatorade or whatever it is. So
or the pub for a beer, am I right?
Palm in a pot.
Yes.
God.
So essentially, I did
Big
that
hours.
first break. And then obviously during that time, there wasn't essentially many people that knew about brakes. So it was, I didn't want to go out and obviously back then it was a thing, there were a few breakers and it was a thing of poaching. You know, the only way that you could get customers would be to go and approach them and say, hey, you know, jump into my page, I've got this break going, because there wasn't a huge amount of people interested in it at that point.
Yeah.
So I kind of went down
there
the
wasn't as
path
much
of
hype.
doing, no, not at all. So I went down the path of doing essentially super cheap breaks. The name Blunt, it's green. We did $4.20 breaks every afternoon at 4:20. So I was busting two 18-19 Prism blasters for $4.20 a spot, random team group break.
Wow.
All sorts of like random things like that. But we just did one of them every single day. It would fill in seconds, and within probably a 2-month period, probably had about 400 to 500 members all screaming for more high-end breaks. And it kind of just developed from there. COVID was a massive blow up because basically locked everyone up. I was probably one of, again, the only one still at the start of that period. And I had access to a lot of good stock, and it just kind of blew up with all the NRL boys getting involved and everything like that. But yeah, when COVID came, the shop was probably the best option at the time, with rent rates going down and all of those kind of things, and just security of the amount of we were breaking. We needed a place to store everything other than my home. Like, that was the thing.
100%.
Lord,
Yeah,
I remember
I
when we
feel that.
first started jumping the brakes, and I remember Bolchy's probably one of the first ones. And he's just like, I just went to that blunt house. He's like, there was shit everywhere. He's like, there was cards and there was sleeves and there were top loaders. He's like, man, he just has a shitload of them. But I remember that. So
I'll never forget the sorting trays.
Yeah.
Just the sorting trays everywhere on your tables.
Like tubs full of just names of different people. It's just, it was a crazy time. Like, we were filling 3 to 4 breaks a night with people screaming for more. Like, it was, and they weren't cheap breaks. It was like that. Essentially, when I say they weren't cheap breaks, if you go back then and look at what I was breaking at the prices, it's, you know, triple now. It's nuts.
Have you found since COVID it sort of started to die down? Are you still getting the same sort of members through, I guess? I
think the thing is, during COVID, there's a lot of breakers now, but during COVID, there was a lot of, I don't like the word, but plastic collectors. Like, it's like they kind of came in thinking it was an investment. They saw everyone else making money and talking about the $1,000 and $2,000 and $5,000 cards that they were hitting. And not really knowing, one, much about basketball, and then two, much about trading cards, and diving in deep with like no knowledge at all. Like, you know, go and drop 2-3K in breaks in a 1 or 2 week period, and then have these piles and piles of cards that they don't know who the players are.
Don't know what they're worth.
What a refractor is, what a numbered card is, and then the assumption of, and like I'll say this, there's breakers that will over influence a hit, where it's like this person then gets the impression that they have a $500 card or a $100 card, and they come to the shop and it's like, bro, look at the comps, it's $5. Like, and when I say comps, it's like, again, that's a rare thing. But when you're talking about a silver card or a prism where there are a lot of them and there are a lot of regular sales, then that's good. But
massive print runs.
Comps, again, when you start to talk about low numbered cards, then that's a different story. But yeah.
Oh, well, that should take us on to the next thing. Probably the biggest card you personally have ever hit. I think I was watching the break. I think if it's the one I'm thinking of, I think
there's a few. There's a few. Like, I think the one you're talking about would be Ja Morant, National Treasures. So that was a big break. We did a half case National Treasures random player break. So I think it was maybe 150, and you got 2 players or something for that.
Yeah, I think we had Bill Walton boys actually. From
memory.
we did.
We hit a card.
Oh, nice. That's what you want. Yeah. And that one was against 4 Point, which was the Melbourne Storm boys. So we did the live stream. I busted my half case first and pulled the Ja Morant vertical RPA to 5. That was for a fella here just in rural New South Wales.
Think
I
that
think
was
that's-
going for 55K at the time.
Oh, I think he's received quite a few offers and some big ones too. But yeah, I think
It's
that's a
life-changing,
card.
eh?
Yeah, it is. And he
Oh.
also hit a jar patch 25 in that as well.
Yeah,
So
he cleaned up that break.
Yeah. that for me, it is a big card, but not the biggest one that I would say that I personally have pulled. I think
Yep.
the moment for me was, I think it was within the first week of opening the shop, and I was in this room by myself. I think it was a 4-year mixer, 17-18 hoops hobby, and flipped a 1-of-1 Kobe Bryant tribute,
Oh,
like that career tribute.
No way.
yeah.
The one walking down the tunnel saying goodbye.
Yeah.
That's probably my biggest
Sentimental as
card
well,
to
like,
me.
that
it
is
still
just-
gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, I just got
even
goosebumps
talking
thinking about it.
Yeah,
Literally, I'm just
yeah.
like looking at my holy, that's huge.
It is. It's a stunning card, and it was that. Yeah, that for me is
That's
probably
the hobby.
biggest.
That's the hobby, bro.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it right there.
Yeah. That's got to be it. And the guy I pulled it for, he's I don't think he'll ever sell it, which is a cool thing too.
Mm.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah,
had
that's
conversations about it. We talked about grading it. I think it'll grade very, very well.
Yeah.
So that's something that we definitely will look to do in the future. But yeah, I think he's been lucky, old Rion. I pulled him not pull, but when I first started Blunt, he bought an optic retail box off me for $350 and pulled the jar around 1-of-1 my house as well. So had a good run.
Wow.
Is his name Lloydie Tally or what?
Yeah, I know. It sounds like a Lloydie thing to do, eh?
Yeah, he's had a good run. Mr. 1-of-1, we call him. Yeah.
Mr. 1-of-1
Yeah.
What about
you boys love a 1-of-1 too? The old popper room in there?
The popper, yeah, we've got the 1-of-1 jackpot too, so goes up $10 every break, and yeah, I think the last one was like $720 before it went off. So there
That's
was a
sick.
dry run there for a while, but there's been breaks where I've pulled. I think the most in a break is 4 from 6 boxes.
4?
Yeah.
Wow.
4
Out of 6. 4 out of 6 ain't bad
That's,
at
that's
all.
a
Yeah.
great strike.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they weren't like duds either. I think there was a Tatum, a Luca, Drew Holiday, and someone else in the mix there as well.
nice.
Yeah.
What about yourself personally? What's the biggest card you own? Is it your PC or is it sort of
The PC.
the PC?
Yeah.
Come on, tell us about the PC.
Well, I collect. I started around I've always loved basketball. It was more when I started to get into the hobby, I decided that I would collect someone. So my partner and I kind of got into that 2000, and I guess it was around the 16-17, coming into the 17-18 season. So we started watching college ball before it, and Kuzma stuck out to us at Utah. Loved his name. He dominated in college.
Mhm.
And we kind of knew that he'd be in those first kind of 10 picks. So we're like, oh, we'll I think that's who I'm going to collect. And then it kind of cemented it when he went to the Lakers too. It was just like, oh, he's going to be a franchise team. And then there were a lot of cheaper rookies essentially in that period too, not cheaper, but more expensive, which made him cheaper.
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball, Ingram from the year before. So I could collect him at a quite affordable level. But yeah, now that he's
How
traded,
do you feel now?
now
Yeah.
that he's traded, I've never been a Lakers fan. My team's probably Portland. It's been, my heart's been there for a long time. I've always loved Dame, and I just love the culture of Portland. They're just they're a ripping team. I just love watching them play.
Yeah,
Always just so fast, and they're all just love watching them.
exciting.
Yeah,
Love seeing one
yeah, it would be good. I don't want Dame to leave, but again, I think you could open them up to some other
He deserves
possibilities.
one, man.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, with the Kuz collection, I don't think I'll be acquiring much anymore. I've tried to upgrade more my ones that I didn't have graded to graded ones, and then I'm going to start to siphon it out. But the Kuzma collection, I've probably got over 500 unique Kuzma cards. But I'll probably send that down to 200, 250, something like that. But the other one's Kobe. That's my other collection. And that's probably my favorite card. I've got 2 actually. I won them both in Razzes. 2 Kobe Bryant gold standard patch autos to 49. And
How good's a Raz?
Yeah, they were gravy. I think they were both nearly 200 spotters or something, and I just bought 8 randoms, and yeah, one both of them. They were 2 days apart.
Number 8, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. So I guess we covered who you are and what you've done. We didn't really touch, but you've also got Blunt East and Blunt West and Blunt NZ, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, Blunt East is the shop we have here in Varsity on the Gold Coast. We did open a new store in WA, I think it's around early May. So that one's in Bayswater. It's probably 5 to 10 minutes from the airport. We linked up with Splash Breaks on that. Yeah, some WA boys. Just really liked the vibe that they had going, that space over there. I know there is another card shop over there, but it's quite distant from the city and those kind of common areas. So it was in need of something there, and the boys have really taken advantage of it. The shop's just forever changing, and I think they're quite busy too, which is good.
It's good.
Every time
Yeah,
I talk to Nick, he seems busy, man.
Man.
I can confirm they are great.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's like I don't talk to Vigo anymore at Blunt NZ or Nicky Seymour anymore. It's just like we're all just like, it's the phone is nonstop. I see the Blunt West messages come through. I see the Blunt NZ. It's nonstop. You get messages, all the time. It's crazy.
I guess that space. So you got the western side, you got east, and then you got sort of NZ, while Cherry sort of really dominates that sort of Melbourne area as well. So you're sort of holding down those other key spots. Maybe like a Darwin next to some Blunt.
Honestly, there are some people in Darwin that have definitely hit us up. But I think if we were to look at another one, it would probably be in Bris Vegas. And it has been talked about. So we'll
keep the eyes peeled, eh?
Yeah.
Keep the eyes peeled for that website coming to, I hear, bro.
Yeah, that's it. Hopefully, I'm not going to say tomorrow. I'm going to say Thursday. So website should be up Thursday, which it's just the biggest thing I want to do is get all the singles, as many singles on there as I can. Not really so worried about them all the sealed stuff, but I want it to be something that people can actually have a browse through.
I think that's something that lacks. Like we talked the other day about the slab stocks, and you can do the tracking in that, but there's no I guess eBay and the Facebook pages, but a decent online single card marketplace without the eBay fees and without your dodgy sellers on your Facebook and things like that. So I think it's definitely something that is missing.
The biggest thing that I'm working at as well with the website singles as well is I'm going to be pre-grading them all. And essentially putting that in the descriptions of each single so people know what they're buying. Going over them, looking at every essential thing that Beckett would look at. Surface, corners, centering, edges, and basically pre-grading it so people know what they are buying.
Nice. With that, would it be just your cards, or would you sort of buy or upload people's cards that they could sell them on your website?
We have talked about doing consignment for sure. I think that's just a feature that I'd want to look at doing more as an automated thing rather than me having to do it.
A lot of work. A
lot of time. Especially if you're pre-grading all of them.
Yeah.
And again, with that stuff, like what I was talking before about those guys not essentially knowing what their stuff's worth and just coming in and throwing it on you and going, I've got these 50 basic, premium stock rookies selling for me. It's
don't waste my time.
800 in the tubs out the front. That's the biggest thing. But they are, and that's the thing. Those cards grow with value over time, and those guys want that quick money, that quick flip. Now you can get it the $3 to $5 to $7 a card, but there's always that increase.
Let's let you talk about your Kuzma cards. You never know, you could go to Wizards and absolutely ball out, and then so you sell them at a bit of a profit.
Essentially, that's the thing. If he can do that, or make All-Star again or something like that, it's there are going to be times, if they make the playoffs even, and that's when I'll slowly siphon it out. But the cards I've got are quite, exclusive. So there are still other Kuzma collectors out there, they might not stop. So again, it's just finding them and what cards they need. So there's definitely sets I'll still try and finish.
Fantastic. So I guess that's the past and the present. What's in store for Blunt future? What have you you just told us about the website, I guess, but anything that's sort of the biggest thing you got coming up?
This would be
I guess what would your goal be at the end of the day? You sit back and you're like, all right, this is Blunt. Where would you be, I guess?
Well, yeah, I'd love to say the goal changed basically last week.
Yeah,
My
nice.
goal, my goal has always been to get Panini Direct, and then with the Fanatics news, it's like, well, that's probably not going to be the case.
Yeah.
Essentially, I'd love to get Australian distribution,
Mhm.
and the
Yeah.
way that I want to do it is essentially look after breakers, look after other card stores, and essentially make sure that they look after the end customer as well.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
know, so if I am a distributor and I get my prices as low as they are, it's like if I sell to that first person, they have the responsibility to then only make a certain margin. And that's
Okay.
like kind of where I want to get it to, so that the end collector does get what
At a
they,
decent price.
exactly. So yeah,
Yeah.
that can't last long with obviously allocations and all of that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But it's like if it's a consistent flow, like I've always doing it, you'll always sell out, and there's always money for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
There's so much like retail stuff that's still sitting in every single breaker's room in every single store in Australia that, you know, is 120, $150 a blaster. This stuff gets sold at distribution prices is probably $10 a blaster.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like if you get it right, there can be money in it for everybody, and the collectors can still make money.
That's it. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's a hobby. It's for the collectors, so you don't want to sort of be overpriced and getting everyone involved.
And it's
Yes.
not breakers' fault at all. It's
Ah.
essentially the distribution. Like if we don't get enough into Australia, or they're not the right avenues, then people have to do it in third-party markets, and
Mhm.
it all
Yeah.
just comes down to marketing. And if people continue to buy in their breaks and they succeed, then they're always going to keep going. Like that's their model.
Especially when you got to
that's their
pay
goal.
like especially when you got to pay like your import fees, GST, and your tax. You know, it all
Yeah, and
adds
with
up.
this stuff as
It's-
well, it gets big because when you're breaking high-end boxes or consistently breaking, like it, you know, it can be, you can turn over 20,000 in a week, and yeah, the tax man hits you hard for that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah. And then the other side, that the manpower that goes into, as you said before, those tubs of boxes that you got, like you're breaking 4 or 5 boxes a night, 4 or 5
mhm.
boxes in each break. Oh, I don't know if
Mm.
anyone's seen behind the scenes, but that is when you
Yeah.
said
Sorting
doing
cards
when you're
is-
doing
sorting
18-hour
cards is
days.
such a fun time.
Oh man,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
stack up.
Yeah, it is. It's very much like that.
I'm
But,
pretty sure
yeah.
his desk looks like that at the moment.
It's quite clean. It's quite.
He's like, clean it just in
Yeah.
case the camera falls down or something.
I think I did like sorted 4 breaks today. It was just, yeah, it's a task, but it is what it is. We buy into it. And
That's
love
why
it.
you do it. You love it, eh?
Yeah, but yeah, like for the future, I think the biggest or the next step is we're actually, as a cat out of the bag, we're actually probably looking and moving out of this space into a bigger one.
Okay.
So that could be
nice.
happening in the next month. So if that happens, it's the same location, or not location, but same area. So it'll just be about 3 times the size, which is exciting.
Basketball court or what?
It'd be awesome, eh? Look
Not
forward
a
to seeing
court,
that.
but there should be a hoop in there. There should be.
Yeah, nice. Bit of a Court Kings type thing. Just get the hoop in there, hit 10 shots, you get a free buck.
Yeah. Similar to that. Yeah, for sure.
So that's pretty much all we've got. So I just want to say, I've got one more question actually, but before we get to that, I just want to say, thanks for your time. Obviously, as you said, you're a busy man, 18-hour day, so we appreciate you for lending us your time.
Yeah,
thank
So
you.
if you had advice to your past self, one piece of advice, what would you give yourself?
Oh, shit. That's a tough one. About the business, yeah?
Yeah, about the business, about the hobby.
Mm.
Don't go balls deep on coups.
Yeah, that is a good one. I think, there's a few that I always look back on. Like definitely, okay, early days,
Give us
I
a
had
few,
3 cases of prison retail. I would have told myself not to open them.
Oh no!
So I paid $6,000 for three cases, so 60 boxes. You can do the math at what $2,000 a box. I've even $2,500. I've seen those up too.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of G notes there.
Woo, good
That
times.
would have been one. Yeah, I think it's just honestly, I've had a few different business partners along the way as well. I've made mistakes with some of those as well, and I think one of the things that always with all of this is now I'm in a situation where I have 2 more business partners in Blunt, New Zealand and Blunt West.
Mhm.
And I think the thing is just communication. Like I said, I don't speak with those boys nearly enough as I should, but we're a tight squad, and we're always, I can see you boys are a tight squad. You're always, sticking at it. But I think it's always just good to talk more and, work towards your goals together. And then that's probably the only it. Yeah.
Some Gandhi
What
like
a
advice
man,
there.
what a man.
Oh, what was that? Hit me in the feels.
Communication is key, boys.
Yeah, boys, it is. It's
It
just like
is.
on the basketball court. It's like, that's what we are. We're in this game together, and the hobby is that. Like, I appreciate you boys getting me on. We're essentially competition, but it's together it grows the hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If they have a
exactly.
competition, we'll definitely be looking to do some sort of break battle or something in the near future.
that's-
We are well due,
That's-
surely.
It's something that I've wanted to G up for sure.
Yeah.
I've wanted to do a massive one like Australia wide. Get a round robin tournament going.
Yeah, that'd be
Ooh.
awesome.
Like we could really get a good playoff vibe going. 8 on each side, make your way in the middle. We could
That'd
even
be
set it
sick.
up as an East versus West style thing. Essentially, there would be enough on
Conference
each
finals.
side. Yep.
Fly to South
so,
Australia and neutral for the middle.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Nah.
We can definitely lots we can do together.
Keen.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, yeah,
Build
hey,
the hobby.
that's what it's all about. Thank you again. We appreciate all your time and what you're doing for the hobby. So thanks for having us on.
No dramas.
Thanks, legend.
Thank
You
you.
boys at the hobby
Appreciate
hangout?
it.
No,
we've
we haven't
been-
installed, but
we're
we're gonna come down and have a look. I'm
Yeah.
obviously in Townsville, but the boys have been talking about it. They're gonna come down, have a
Yeah.
look, and suss it out.
Yeah, too easy.